Garden, where Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs are looking to even up the series at 2 games apiece. Wemby went for 32 points in the Game 3 victory on Monday, snapping the Knicks' 13-game winning streak. It was the first time New York had lost in some 46 days. Knicks head coach Mike Brown was none too pleased about the second-half free throw disparity. San Antonio had 24 attempts to New York's 8. Also cause for concern, Karl Anthony Towns has 0 zippy points in the fourth quarter in all 3 games this series. Tonight, Wemby ready to get back to work.
You have to fail in the playoffs before you can succeed in the playoffs, and what you have been trying to do is so unusual. And I guess part of the equation is, can you learn fast enough during the playoffs that you don't have to fail first, that you can just succeed all the way? So what have you learned in this first run through the finals that you can apply in real time so that you can finish what you've started here?
We will see, but my bet would be yes, it's possible. And what we've learned, I mean, many things over these playoffs. Many things. Brace with your hands and not with your chin. Hit below the head if you do. And many other things, but most importantly, be relentless.
0-0. You know, no matter if we won or lost yesterday, today we would have came in, did film, got better. Learn from what we could do, do this damn circus of a media, and then get shots up and then go to sleep. So for us, nothing changes.
And with that, we say hello and welcome to CBS Sports HQ alongside our NBA analysts Chris Walker and John Gonzalez. Going to be back with you guys. I am Hakeem Dermish here to get you set for Game 4 of the NBA Finals. The Spurs looking to go even Steven. And Chris, what you saw from that young Spurs team, I know that you liked it, but what did you see? What does it say about this young Spurs team to be able to handle themselves so well in that raucous atmosphere in Game 3 at MSG?
I think they showed poise, for a young team. You're talking about one of the youngest ever since the Trailblazers and Bill Walton. And and you and I, we went back and forth about how talented they are, having the second best record behind the Thunder, upending the champions to get to the championship, albeit they were injured. The bottom line is they had to win Game 7 in the Paycom Center. So that's a big deal, and they're superstars, 22-year-olds, third year in the league. And you know what? I'm sorry, they could be up 3-0. They could be up 3-0 in the series right now.
I can see them being up 2-1, not 3-0.
They could be up 3-0. They had 2 games at home, and they did what no one thought what they were going to do is win in that raucous crowd in Madison Square Garden. They went in, they put the Roundup in there, the weed eater, and they got it done. That's what they did. Went in there and rounded them up and got it done. And so what I'm saying is what they did, and I thought the key was toughness. Now, people can talk about the Wemby smush to the face, but what that play was indicative of what they needed to do. And I hate to say that, my Villanova guy, Jalen Brunson, Villanova fans, don't chop me up, but that was a signature play. Also, Stephon Castle, and we debated whether that was a flagrant when he knocked down Jalen Brunson. Those 2 plays, to me, signified the Spurs meant business, and they got it done. And I'm not so certain, right, especially with Mike Brown complaining after the game, that the Spurs didn't change things to New York, which is supposed to be considered the mecca of basketball, the tough place to play, and the team from down south came up with the young boys and gave them the business.
Give them something to think about, for sure. I mean, you called them poised. That's absolutely right. I just keep thinking about their composure, where you go to New York, knowing Madison Square Garden is going to be raucous. They haven't had a finals game since 1999. The Bing Bongs are going crazy. Timothée Chalamet's there. Everybody's excited. And the Spurs went, hold on a second. Yeah, you took 2 on our floor, but you're right, Chris. It could have gone the other way. The Spurs were up 14 in Game 1. They had a lead in Game 2. And they could have mailed it in. And instead, they go to Madison Square Garden. And I just keep thinking about how composed they were. Again, Victor Wembanyama, 22 years old. Stephon Castle, 21 years old. Dylan Harper, 20 years old. This is an incredibly young team, a team that hadn't made the postseason since 2019. They knock off the champs, they're on the ropes, and they come back and they answer. So just a really remarkable performance from them in that last game. And again, really giving the Knicks something to think about, right? Because the Knicks, they go up 2-0, and all of a sudden they're thinking, we got this thing in the bag.
I mean, people were starting to plan the victory parade. And I said, just slow down, all right? Just slow down before we start planning parades. Knicks looking to bounce back before heading back to San Antonio. Chris, if you're Mike Brown, what's the message, what's the mindset for your team ahead of Game 4?
First of all, I'm apologizing to my team for talking about the referees.
Really?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
But,
obviously,
isn't that a message, though, that he sent?
He's working
right?
the refs.
Roy said the other day he's sending a message, but at the end of the day, that could be something that helps the Spurs as well. Because let me tell you something. The Spurs are the more aggressive team. They have drivers. They have De'Aaron Fox. They have Stephon Castle. They have Dylan Harper. The only guy the Knicks has like that is Jalen Brunson. And so my thing is maybe Anunoby here and there, but Josh Hart and all those guys can't create plays. Yeah. So that may be in the Spurs, to the Spurs' advantage. Now, in saying that, Mike Brown's, hey guys, listen, here's the deal. If we don't win this game, I'm just letting you know right now, they have home court advantage. We're going to have to win 2 games in San Antonio. We got to come out flying. Let's tune out the noise. I remember when I was a coach and I was a player, people say, do you see all those people at the game? I say, no, you don't see them. But you know what? I thought the Knicks saw them. I think they got caught up in the hoopla of what was going on.
The distraction.
Shame on James Dolan not letting those guys have the watch parties. Like, at the end of the day...
Those are your fans.
Yeah, the fans.
Those are the real ones.
The New York is acting like you've been there before when it's like, you're acting like you've never been there before. Let's not let them do this. Hey, no, let's have all of that. We're going to need all of that because people are underestimating how good this Spurs team is. And I'll say it again. New York has played, every one of these teams New York has played, those teams have come back after a 7-game series. And I think now this team has got their composure, and we'll see what happens. This pivotal game, I think whoever wins this game wins the series.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think that look, if you're Mike Brown, I get why he's doing, because you and I are sort of on the same page here. He's sending a little bit of a message. Right. He's working the refs. I thought that the way that Karl Anthony Towns responded to it was the way that you handle it, where he was asked about whether or not the foul disparity and the refs changed the series or changed that game, and he said, forget about that. We gave the ball away way too many times late in the fourth quarter. That's what lost us the game, not the refs. That's the proper mindset to have. Now, 2 things can be true. The refs were not good in Game 3, but they're not the reason you lost Game 3. So the Spurs, how they answer tonight, if they're worried about the refs and they're worried about the crowd and they're worried about the distractions and they're thinking about what happened in Game 3 and not focused on Game 4, well, now all of a sudden they've got a problem. But I want to see how they respond tonight, because this is we talk about must-win games and pivotal games and all of that stuff. If they win tonight, nobody's going to remember what happened in Game 3. They're going to have a stranglehold on the series. If they lose tonight, if they look like the moment's too big, if there's too many things going on, if they're still worried about all of these ancillary things and not playing good basketball against the Spurs, and it goes 2-2, and they cede home court advantage back to the Spurs, uh-oh.
All right, well, I want to remind our viewers what exactly Mike Brown said post-Game 3. We know that they missed a would-be blatant flagrant foul when Wemby pushed Jalen Brunson to the floor, and then there was a second-half free throw disparity, and Mike Brown, well, he took note of it, and he let everybody listen, and he let everybody figure it out for themselves. Take a listen to this.
I'd be in the NBA Finals and see
And cry would cry like a baby.
a team get 24 free throw attempts in the second half to another team's 8. And I don't think I complain much about officials or the fairness when it comes to the free throw attempts. There were opportunities for fouls to be called to at least try to even the free throws out. Now, we didn't play good. San Antonio played great. We could have played better. There were a lot of things that we didn't do that we did in Game 1 and Game 2. As a team, if you take away the fouls and the free throws, that should have, in my opinion, been a little bit more even. Again, maybe we fouled that many times, but they fouled too. And it's not shown at the end of the day on this box score.
I mean, you're out here chuckling the whole time.
I'm not chuckling.
You are. I mean, like, come on. There's something there, though. 24-8?
But it's funny because there's a little dusting of Kenny Atkinson there.
There
right?
is.
Where if you take away the free throws that actually happened, maybe we win the game in this alternate universe that doesn't exist. Here in reality land, those things actually did happen, and you could work the refs all you want, and you had said, maybe you go and you apologize to your team for the free throw disparity and for complaining about it. I don't mind him sort of working the refs there, but we all know that this is what happened, and you just got to roll with it.
Listen, what he said last is what he should have said first. Hey, we didn't play well.
Yes.
But again, that's why it's hard to talk to people when games are over. The emotions of the game. It's like, how can we? You weren't driving the basketball. You weren't putting yourselves in position to be fouled. And
so
to be fair,
you're mad about the order that he said it in his message.
Because you're the coach. You set the tone, right? And my thing
is, you as a coach, you know you're a little hot coming off of a loss.
I get it, but again, when you go back and watch the tape, that's what happens. That's why sometimes I work for a great coach in Jay Wright. He would never really go crazy after the game because he wanted to go watch the tape, and then so you don't say anything that you have to recant. And here's the thing. They were grabbing Wemby. Cat was grabbing Wemby every single time, and they never called it. And what I'm saying is when you say that, now you activate them to call fouls on Cat. Because as I said before, the Spurs are the more aggressive team. They have more drivers than the Knicks. So now if you're telling them to call it tighter, guess what they're going to do? Drive the basketball more. You're going to call more fouls. The Spurs are going to be at the line even more. That's what I believe.
I'm glad that you brought up the Karl Anthony Towns guarding Wemby component because there's no doubt. We all saw Wemby give the forearm shiver to Jalen Brunson, and that should have been called, and they admitted afterwards that they missed that call. But they were letting both sides play physical. This is the NBA Finals. What are you expecting here for the refs to do? It's going to be a physical play. Now, was that a little bit dirty? You're seeing it here where he pushed this one is different. You put that one aside. No doubt about it, that should have been called. However, it has been physical this entire 3-game series, and I think that if we're given the choice between them calling it too tight or letting these guys play, don't you want to see them play? Don't you let them go? This is the finals. Settle it on the court, not with the whistle.
Agreed. Different officiating crew tonight. My guy, Zach Zarba, his crew will be on the floor. John, considering what we just talked about, the physicality in Game 3, what do you expect tonight?
I think that it's going to be physical again. I mean, Zach Zarba is an excellent referee. He's one of the guys that when they were doing the referee list of the rankings of which referees that the players like to see out there, Zach Zarba right at the top of the list. I think he'll have it under control, but also I don't think that he's going to call this game too tight, nor should he, because, look, through these 3 games, despite the fact that Mike Brown was complaining about the second half free throw disparity, the Knicks took 10 fewer free throws in the last game. It wasn't that outlandish, right? And through the first 3 games, it has been an excellent series. I mean, all 3 games could have gone either way. Whatever they're doing out there, let them keep doing it because it's been excellent.
Listen, I don't understand, and I've been a part of many games and we get to talk about these things. And Zach's your twin, by the way. And you're doing the referee. He's your twin, by the way.
He's a handsome man. I'll take the compliment. Kidding me?
But here's the deal. Here's the deal. You turn the ball over, you lose the game.
Yes.
Jalen Brunson's in foul trouble. That's the other thing they don't realize. Him off the floor, and if we're sitting here having a conversation about Alvarado, Jordan Clarkson, Deuce McBride, and if those guys aren't playing well, you don't win, that doesn't bode well for the Knicks. I'm sorry. I still believe that the Spurs are the more talented team. And if they play the right way... What's that?
I said I love this guy. Finally.
No, seriously, because if you go, think about it, off the bench, they got the 6th man of the year. Whether he's playing well or not, they got the 6th man of the year. And the other thing I'll say is this about adjustments. Mike Brown did not adjust. They took Wemby off of Cat, they put Keldon Johnson, and they let Wemby play goalie. And guess who they let shoot the ball every time? Josh Hart, who struggled. And then all of a sudden, they didn't find him anymore. And what they're having a problem with is my Nova guys. Josh Hart struggled, then Mikal Bridges struggled.
Game 3.
He was.
But he was
good, right?
But that's the game they lost. But guess who didn't play well? Mikal Bridges. They got to get those guys playing together at the same time. And Jalen Brunson, although he's scoring a lot of points, he's not being efficient.
Needed a lot of shots to do it.
He needed a lot of shots. But here's the thing. The Spurs have big athletic guards that he's not playing against James Harden. He's playing against big, physical, athletic guards that are athletic, and they don't have to have one guy guarding them. They can switch guys off on them. And every time, watch the game tonight, every time Jalen Brunson makes a shot, you know what it is? Stop, pivot, shot fake, throw it up. It's like every shot's a circus shot. And I think they're wearing him down.
Yeah.
And so if they wear Jalen Brunson down, how can the Knicks beat these guys if Jalen Brunson doesn't play better? I don't think they can. So we'll see. Hopefully my Villanova guy gets it done. But if I'm the Spurs, keep pressure on him. Last thing I'll say is go at him and get him in foul trouble. When he's not in the game, the Knicks are a very different team, period. And they're not worthy of a championship without Jalen Brunson, 100%.
If Zach Zarba is your twin, Chris is mine. I feel like I just heard myself say all those things because exactly what you're saying about going at Jalen Brunson, that's what I was screaming at the Sixers to do. They never did. They let him hide in the corner. I was screaming at your Cavaliers to do it. They never did. They let him hide in the corner. all of a sudden, here come the Spurs with those big physical guards and wings, and they can throw so many different looks at him where it's here comes Stephon Castle, here comes Dylan Harper, here comes Vassell and Champagnie, and yes, Keldon Johnson does not look like the sixth man of the year, but at least he can give you a little bit of effort
He's a threat,
on
though.
the defensive end. And in Game 3, I thought Jalen Brunson had his best game of the series, but that's a low bar because he has 32 points. And to your point about efficiency, he needs 25 shots to get there. They frustrated him, they made him work, and what happens? They end up losing that game. That is the formula for the Spurs defense against that Knicks offense.
Well, we're going to continue the conversation. Game 4 is set to tip off just after 8:30 Eastern tonight. We're going to take you right up until tip off right here on CBS Sports HQ. And look, I'm going to take that compliment.
There you guys, right there. Look at it.
For what it's worth.
Who's here?
way
You or
better.
him?
No, he's better looking than I am. For what it's worth, here's a look at both teams' record with Zach Zarba as an official this season. Virtually the same record. Spurs 6-2, while the Knicks are 5-2. So we should expect a well-officiated game tonight from Zach Zarba and his crew. We are just getting started. When we return, we'll take you to New York ahead of Game 4 of the NBA Finals. We've got a live report from Madison Square Garden next on CBS Sports HQ.
You want to fight about it? Let's go.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, nobody's seen that coming. Y'all gonna make me.
Who's a gangster now? Family does not leave family behind.
Y'all gonna make me out.
You are a stone cold killer.
1, 2, hit me out loud.
I want success. Get it for me. This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
We don't break ourselves in half to give you a better life.
Rip and Beth have secrets. People with secrets can be useful.
We need to be careful with this family.
Find out what they know before it gets more complicated.
Family is the only thing worth fighting for. If either one of you want to walk, I won't hold it against you.
I'll be right next to you.
I've been so many places.
Life comes at you fast, whether you're ready for it or not. Everything has to come to an end.
I'm singing this song to you.
My center, my soul is gone.
The worry is what you do next.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
Till the roof comes up, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth. She's gonna blow!
All episodes of Landman, TV's biggest phenomenon, are now streaming.
The situation's about to come to a head. How do you know? Because I'm about to take it there.
Every time you take a breath, you owe me.
I want success. Get that for me.
Well, God, you got anything else?
Landman, all episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
There are some things in life that you can't quite explain.
An extraordinary story.
Maybe it sounds flawless, looks effortless, or makes you feel like a part of history.
The first ever goal for BFC.
And when all of those phenomenons come together, it's perfect. Pitch perfect.
This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
You bought the Edwards Ranch.
It's the Dunn Ranch now.
Rip and Beth have secrets. People with secrets can be useful.
No one understands what we've done to protect this ranch.
I wanted peace.
You can't chase peace. You gotta live it.
And peace will have to wait.
Do you think it's possible to discern some hidden pattern shared by all serial killers?
Maybe they are unique. Their own sick snowflakes.
Elias, would you be able to help us?
Once it starts, it can't be stopped.
We are going to go where the evidence takes us.
I see those wheels turning.
Whatever it takes.
The Spurs outlasted the Knicks in another classic for Game 3. Victor Wembanyama put up a 30-piece. Stephon Castle drilled a huge three late in the game to help them pull away and make this a series at 2-1. Now they have a chance to tie it up for Game 4 at 8:30 Eastern from Madison Square Garden. And we head out to Madison Square Garden as we welcome in CBS San Antonio's Nate Ryan from the world's most famous arena. And Nate, we know how wild the scene was for Game 3. The president in there, Jay-Z, Cardi B, all the stars, right? Ben Stiller, Derek Jeter. How is the energy from your perspective for this Game 4?
Game 4, no President Donald Trump tonight, but I think Taylor Swift is going to be in the house here tonight. Maybe scouting out her wedding venue, maybe probably sitting courtside for Game 4. But no, epic matchup on tap for tonight. Never before in NBA history has the road team won games 1 and 2 in the NBA Finals, and then the road team turned around and won games 3 and 4. If the Spurs win tonight, that's exactly what's going to happen. I feel like there's a little bit of angst among this Knicks fan base coming in to tonight, obviously because things were going so well, right? It was smooth sailing. They were ready to bust out the brooms after they won games 1 and 2 in San Antonio. But the Spurs, despite trailing by 7 at half in Game 3, settling down, very composed, coming back and closing the door in Game 3. And a lot of that, I think, is attributed to the Spurs being able to take care of the basketball. 28 assists, just 8 turnovers in Game 3. And off those turnovers, they scored 21 points. Taking care of the rock proved to be the difference maker, I think, in Game 3, particularly in front of a hostile road environment. In San Antonio, it was like 60-40 compared to Spurs Knicks fans. Obviously, they traveled down from New York in San Antonio. You'd be very hard-pressed to find Spurs jerseys at Madison Square Garden here tonight. But I think this young Spurs team, they've said as much. They like playing in front of that energy.
Yeah, and it showed, right, with their poise down the stretch, with all those fans screaming for them to lose, and they did not. Now, looking at Game 4, Nate, how did the Spurs keep the momentum and tie the series up at 2 games apiece and just shock this fan base that was expecting the Knicks to sweep San Antonio?
I mentioned taking care of the basketball. In Games 1 and 2, the Spurs finished with more than 10 turnovers, took the loss. Game 3, only 8 turnovers. They get the win. Victor Wembanyama asserting his dominance in the paint from an early standpoint, I think, was another big factor. Victor was pushed out of the paint in Games 1 and 2. Knicks made a very much a concerted effort to let him settle for mid-range jump shots. In Game 3, I don't know which Spurs staffer pulled him aside and said, yo, dude, you're 7'4", take the ball to the rim. His first 4 shots in Game 3, all coming from inside of 5 feet from the basket. He made all 4 of them, converted on all of his alley-oop lobs. 9 of 12 from 6 feet and in was Victor in Game 3. If he's able to assert his dominance early inside the cylinder, obviously crowds that defense in, makes life a lot tougher for New York. Also, underrated stat for me, Karl Anthony Towns was so good in Game 1, played well in Game 2 as well, too. But Cat, over the last 2 games, no points in the 4th quarter. You want your best showing up in crunch time. Towns has been absent in crunch time the last 2 games. 1-point win for New York, obviously Game 2, a Spurs win in Game 3.
Nate Ryan, always appreciate the insight from the world's most famous arena. Cannot wait to see how it all shakes out. Look forward to talking to you post-game. Take care, man.
We'll see you post-game, Chris.
And so far, the Knicks and Spurs have won each of their road games, right? And when you look at the last time that happened, that was back in 93, I should say, the Bulls and Suns. And the Bulls won that series, of course, 4-2. We'll see if the Knicks can win it, with the Spurs looking to even things up at 2. Coming up, so we just heard from Nate Ryan about what the Spurs need to do to tie the series up, but what do our experts, John and Chris, believe is the recipe for another San Antonio win?
About it. Let's go.
Nobody's seen that coming. Who's a gangster now? Family does not leave family behind.
You are a stone cold killer. I want success. Get it for me.
This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
We don't break ourselves in half to give you a better life.
Rip and Beth have secrets. People with secrets can be useful.
We need to be careful with this family.
Find out what they know before it gets more complicated.
Family is the only thing worth fighting for. If either one of you want to walk, I won't hold it against you.
I'll be right next to you.
I've been so many places.
Life comes at you fast, whether you're ready for it or not. Everything has to come to an end.
I'm singing this song to you.
My center, my soul is gone.
The worry is what you do next.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
Till the roof comes up, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth.
She's gonna blow!
All episodes of Landman, TV's biggest phenomenon, are now streaming.
The situation's about to come to a head.
How do you know?
Because I'm about to take it there.
Every time you take a breath, you owe me.
I want success. Get that for me.
Well, God, you got anything else?
Landman, all episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Victor the Villain. Wembanyama became official in Game 3 when he pushed Jalen Brunson to the floor. Wemby went on to have his best game in these finals, finished with 32 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks in Game 3. Wembanyama, the second player in Spurs history to score at least 25 points in 3 consecutive finals games, joining the Hall of Famer Tim Duncan. Back here with Chris Walker, John Gonzalez. Chris, Victor the Villain is officially here. How would you describe his impact in Game 3?
Is he really a villain? Seriously, he's too nice of a kid to be a villain. But that mush to the face.
They've already crowned him New York's new villain.
You're right about that, and he even made reference to Trae Young. He says he's not Trae Young. But, you know, he's a great guy to hate, you know what I'm saying? He's 7'4", and they call him the alien, which I don't know, I get why they do that, but at the end of the day, this guy is a transcendent player in the NBA. They were waiting on him for a long time when he was in high school. It was talked about what he's going to be, and he has done everything to fulfill, similar to LeBron, the notion of this guy is the second coming of whatever he's going to be. We'll see how his career goes. But if he wins the championship, right, and if he does what people are projecting him to do, he will be certainly one of the best players ever. I call him Wimberlin, because he's like Will Chamberlain. You know, like he does things that people you just haven't seen it. Yeah. Crossovers from 3, drive to the rim. Sometimes he's a little bit too more perimeter oriented, and that has hurt him. His mid-range game hasn't been as great, but give Mitch Johnson credit. Put them in middle ball screens where you got Stephon Castle going downhill. You got to stop him, and you got a 7'4" guy that no one can stop on the lob with shooters on the perimeters. That was great coaching. Now, we'll see, right, if he gets caught up in the moment, and they don't stick with what worked. You know, New York has to make an adjustment. I don't know what you can do with that adjustment because as long as Dylan Harper doesn't go 5 for 18 and shoot 1 for 8 from 3, and Stephon Castle doesn't get caught shooting threes, and they continue that same game plan, I don't know how the Knicks stop them.
Yeah, I just love watching Victor Wembanyama figure this out in real time. Might have maybe wanted to see him do it a little bit quicker, but what changed? So he has a monster game in Game 3, right? They need him to have his best game of the postseason at 22 years old on the road in Madison Square Garden, and he has a monster line, 32 points and 8 rebounds and 6 assists and a couple of steals and 3 blocks, and he's everywhere. But what changed in Game 3 from Game 1 and 2? Game 1, average shot distance a little over 17 feet. He's catching the ball way too far away from the basket. He's settling for 3-pointers. He goes 2 for 9. He's not at all efficient. Game 2, a little bit closer. Little average shot distance, a little over 13 feet. Still an L, but you see him starting to creep forward and figuring out, oh yeah, I'm 7'4". I need to get to the rim. What am I doing? Game 3, he finally changes it. Average shot distance just over 10 feet, and he decides to dominate down low. Doesn't need to post up. Posting up is almost out of vogue completely in the NBA. He does need to get to the rim, though, and when he gets to the rim, he is dominant. He is nigh unstoppable. Throw those lobs guards. Get him going downhill, as you said, and once that happens, that unlocks his offense. Doesn't mean that he can't shoot the 3. He can absolutely shoot the 3. It's just the shot diet. Start inside, then work outside, and that was the key for him in Game 3.
But we did say who didn't play during that game.
Yeah. Tell them.
Robinson.
Tell the people.
He only played 7 minutes, the more physical big.
Yep.
So that was a big change. So we'll see how Mike Brown counters, because if you put him in the game, what are they going to do to him? Foul him. Hack a Mitch.
22-year-old Victor Wembanyama, the youngest player with at least 30 points in an NBA Finals game since Magic Johnson in 1980. The Knicks will try to attempt to contain Wemby like they did in the first 2 games of this series. So, Chris, what adjustments does New York need to make tonight against Wemby specifically?
Against Wemby, we just talked about it, be more physical. You know, his shot distance is getting closer and closer, and the closer he gets to the rim, the more dangerous he is. And what happens is if he plays more efficiency, that activates the other guys. He has to do less. I think Wemby's going to get his 30, and we talked about this before. Is it really about Wemby, or is it about the Robin? Who's going to be the Robin? Because he's going to be Batman. They can't win if someone else is Batman.
He's the villain, remember?
He's the Joker.
Yeah. Or the Joker, there you go.
Or the Joker, because Joker never dies, right?
The Joker, that's Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, you're right. Well,
he can be Bane.
He can be Bane? Well, that's even tougher. But I'll say this. Here's the thing. They're going to have to do something physicality-wise. They're going to have to hope. And here's the thing. It's the NBA.
Yeah.
The great players are going to play great. There's no way this guy's like Jalen Brunson's not going to play bad. You know what I'm saying?
That's really what it is. When you're talking about adjustments on Victor Wembanyama, good luck. I think that they got lucky in games 1 and 2 with him taking himself out.
But is there a way to push him to the perimeter, though?
Sure.
Right? Like that's the idea.
But they're going to call it tight tonight.
Right.
Remember that.
Right.
So all those times when Wembanyama tries to drive and they got those hands on him, they're calling that tonight because they hadn't called that the first 2 games. You know, especially when Mitchell Robinson's guarding him and he's more physical on him. Or those guys like Josh Hart, those guys are in the pocket reaching. Yep. The question is, will they call those things? But it comes down to, are they going to be in rotation? If they have to fly around and Stephon Castle is getting in that lane and he's creating problems and they're sucking in and you got those corner threes by their shooters. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, who you shouldn't sleep on with the Spurs is Devin Vassell and Champagnie. Yep. I'm just telling you, this team is more I think the first 2 games kind of threw everybody out of whack with the Knicks winning streak, and people thought there's no way the Knicks aren't going to win. But
team of destiny.
Exactly. But you played a tired San Antonio team that just beat the former champions in a 7-game series on the road, and then you're playing the youngest team other than I'm just telling you, it was all Shakespearean for the Knicks. And then, there you go, on Broadway. It was Shakespearean. Come on, give me that.
I like it.
It was Shakespearean.
Well done.
And now, guess what? If they don't win this game...
You're acting like the Spurs already won the series.
I'm just telling you, do anybody... You got your blue and your tie
I've noticed that, too.
You're already ready to go. But seriously, if the Spurs win tonight, who's not going to say that the Spurs are going to win the series? Like, if they win tonight, if they win 2 games in Madison Square Garden, who's not going to say that Chris and John are right, they are the more talented team, that this guy, Wembanyama, is the second coming, and guess what? They're not going to win 2 out of 3 games in San Antonio. Because that means they would have won 4 games. That means they would have won 4.
We got to play the game, okay?
Huh?
We got to play the game, all right?
If it goes 7 games, that means they possibly could have. I mean, come on, man. I wanted to go 7 games. How about that?
Look, the Knicks also
need
to keep Steph Castle in check. You talked about who's going to be the Robin here. He was more physical in Game 3. His best game of the series, 23 points, including a late three-pointer in the fourth quarter. Look, he stepped up when the Spurs needed him. What do they need from him tonight to even up this series?
I think they need more of the same, John.
Absolutely.
I need him to drive the basketball. And again, we're talking about, as you say, be careful what you wish for. Let's call it tighter. Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart are the most physical guys. And guess what happened to Mikal Bridges? He got in foul trouble. And then Stephon Castle went crazy. And again, we're forgetting about a guy I didn't mention a minute ago. I was talking about Champagnie, and I was talking about Devin Vassell. How about De'Aaron Fox? He's another driver.
Sure.
John, those guys got a lot of attackers.
I mean, they have a ton of attackers, and Castle is the guy. When you're, Hakeem, asking who's the second guy, Stephon Castle is the second guy, and he's emerged as that at 21 years old. And he was even asked about it after the game. He said, well, you know, Wemby said that you're the most mature guy on this team, and he kind of laughed it off, and he said, well, I don't go to bed at 9 p.m. like Wemby does, so I think he's the most mature guy on the team. But he's just really super even. That would have been a very easy game for a guy who's 21, playing in the biggest game of his life, to be overwhelmed, and he was not at all. And I think when you were mentioning how many guys that they have to handle the ball and drive, De'Aaron Fox has not had his best series by a lot. But he takes some of the ball pressure off of Stephon Castle, where he doesn't have to be the primary initiator, and he can just go and do what Stephon Castle does. And he had a monster offensive line, super efficient, 8 of 14 from the floor, plays excellent defense. That's the other thing that maybe casual fans don't quite realize. He's dynamic. He's hyper athletic. He can get to the rim at will, and he'll jump out of the gym. But defensively, I think, is where he really shines. He's giving you maximum effort at both ends of the floor. He could have been all defense. He wasn't. Spurs fans were a little hurt about that, a little worked up about it. But that's the caliber of player that he is, and why he raises the Spurs level. You already know what you're going to get from Victor Wembanyama. He's everything that Chris said. But for people who don't really realize, Stephon Castle is that 1A to Wemby's 1.
Let me just make one point about Fox. My boy from H-Town, I got to shout him out.
He's been dealing with the lingering ankle sprain.
He made the big shot last game to seal the game. Let's be honest, that's an all-star player who's playing on a hurt will, and he still is a guy that's an X-factor guy.
Biggest shot of his career.
Exactly. But so what happens if he all of a sudden turns it up? That's why I'm saying they have so many weapons that at the end of the day, it's just that they lost those 2 games.
You're saying they're about to unlock something.
Again, he just made a big shot. That may have helped his confidence, 100%. Right? Because we're talking about Stephon Castle. The trade was for De'Aaron Fox to be this guy. And it ends up being Stephon Castle, and all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, Dylan Harper's the future. I'm like, guys, don't forget about De'Aaron Fox. This dude is really good. He's just hurt. And if all of a sudden he turns it on, it gets even crazier. So the question is, we'll see tonight if De'Aaron Fox comes to play. If De'Aaron Fox comes to play and it puts in work, and you got Vassell and Champagnie, who's from New York, this thing, and if Keldon, again, we got still got a lot of answers on the Spurs side. If Keldon Johnson and De'Aaron Fox play well, I don't see how the Knicks can beat these guys.
Fox hit 43% in this series, 25% from 3, hasn't scored the ball well, but you're right. That shot that he had at the end of Game 4,
huge.
Biggest shot of his career, maybe that gets him going.
Ultimately, the Spurs looking to become the first team ever to win the NBA Finals after losing the first 2 games at home. History up for grabs tonight. The Spurs can become the 7th team to win 4 straight road games in the NBA Finals. Consider this, though. The road team has never won the first 4 games of any NBA Finals. So it feels like a must-win for the Knicks. Coming up, the adjustments New York has to make in Game 4. That's next on CBS Sports HQ as we continue to get you set for Game 4 of the NBA Finals.
You want to fight about it? Let's go.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Nobody's seen that coming. Y'all gonna make me. Who's a gangster now? Family does not leave family behind. Y'all gonna make me.
You are a stone cold killer. I want success. Get it for me.
This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
We don't break ourselves into have to give you a better life.
Rip and Beth have secrets. People with secrets can be useful.
We need to be careful with this family.
Find out what they know, or it gets more complicated.
Family is the only thing worth fighting for. If either one of you want to walk, I won't hold it against you.
I'll be right next to you.
Life comes at you fast, whether you're ready for it or not. Everything has to come to an end.
I'm singing this song to you.
My center, my soul is gone.
The worry is what you do next.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars. What a difference she has made.
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it? The crowd here feels electric.
Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth.
She's gonna blow!
All episodes of Landman, TV's biggest phenomenon, are now streaming.
The situation's about to come to a head.
How do you know?
Because I'm about to take it there.
Every time you take a breath, you owe me.
I want success. Get that for me.
Well, God, you got anything else?
Landman, all episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Closing in on tip-off for Game 4 of the NBA Finals from the world's most famous arena. Knicks trying to win a Finals game at MSG for the first time since 1999. Tickets for Game 4 a little bit cheaper than in Game 3. Tonight you can get in the door at the Garden for around $3,000.
Hey, John, you can afford that. There you go.
That's
Chris Walker.
Right in your range right there.
Back here with CBS Sports HQ NBA analyst Chris Walker, John Gonzalez. The Knicks had 13 turnovers in Game 3, led to 21 points for the Spurs. Need to clean that up, and the Knicks need to jumpstart their offense, and that starts with Jalen Brunson. And Chris, you talked about this postgame of Game 3. What does Brunson perhaps have to do here differently tonight in Game 4?
I mean, you know what? He plays better at home, right? And so I think he needs to be efficient. I think it's tough because I believe that those bigger guards somehow may be wearing him down a little bit. Because if I was, if I was Mitch Johnson, I would never double him. Because when you double him, all you do is activate Shaman and all those guys, and it's target practice. Just force him to continue to make every single shot, shoot a bad percentage, make sure everyone's boxed out, and then don't give him second shot rebounds. So Jalen Brunson, in my opinion, has to come out and start fast. Right? He has to come out and start fast. He has to be confident. No matter what anyone says about his shooting percentage, you still have to be the guy if they're going to win this championship. I don't think they can do it. They can talk about Cat and they can talk about everybody else. If they win the championship, he has to be the MVP and he has to be the one that get it done. And I'm shamelessly going to say this. I was with Becky Hammond and said, I don't think you can win with a small guard. I said that.
She's not walking it back. Are you?
It's Villanova. You put me in a tough spot. It's my VU guy. But I'm just saying, I think it's tough, and we'll see tonight. Ask me after tonight. I won't answer it right now.
You know, it's tough for the Knicks because, he's only shooting 42% in this series. He goes for 32 in that game. It's his best game of the series, and yet they still lose because he's so inefficient. He needs 25 shots to get it done. So, Akeem, when you're asking, what adjustments does he need to make? Well, one, it would be helpful if he didn't have to do all of that, where he didn't have to take 25 shots. But principally, one, he has to control those turnovers. He has as many turnovers in this series as he has assists, and he has to get those other guys involved. Those assists have to go up, and the turnovers have to go down. Because when he's asked to do so much, when he's taking 25 shots in a game that they're trying to put a stranglehold on the series and go up 3-0, the Spurs aren't stupid. They know what's happening. They're throwing all those really good big guards and wings, physical guys at him, and they're trying to slow him down. And they're making him work so hard at both ends of the floor, which is exactly what the Spurs should be doing. So from the Knicks' perspective, yeah, he's got to get other guys more involved, get some scoring help from his teammates, and then also really take care of the ball. 5 turnovers, way too many.
Can I just say real quick, how does he get him involved if they don't double him? So, again, he's not a breakdown guard to drive and kick. he's a guy that drives to score. So when they double him, that's what gets those other guys open. That's why he's not getting assists. So those other guys are, guess what? They're guarded now. Yeah. And Jalen Brunson has to make shots on bigger guards. That's why he has to take more shots. And so I just think that the Spurs, if they continue with that scheme of not doubling him and running people at him like people would do Shai Gilgeous. Well, if you run 2 people at him, it's the NBA. You leave guys open, they're going to make shots. Yep. And if they're not open, it's hard to make shots. I just think that's the adjustment. Be more efficient, play faster, but try to find a way. Hope that they double him. But if they don't double him, I don't see much changing. He has to make tough shots. It's tough shots. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking
He's a great
of
shot
shots,
maker.
Another big storyline, Karl Anthony Towns has scored 0 zippy points in the fourth quarter in all 3 games this series. John, what do you make of this trend for Cat? I always say the trend is your friend. This trend is not the friend of the Knicks and Cat.
And by the way, professional transition, I caught that. Speaking of shots, Karl Anthony Towns' first 2 games, there's a case to be made that he was and still could be the MVP of this series, right? In game 2, going into game 2, he's plus 600 to win the MVP. By the third quarter, that number had dropped to plus 350. I thought that he vastly outplayed Victor Wembanyama in game 1. He was very good in game 2. And then in game 3, not as good, right? Where he only goes for 11 and 8. He only takes 10 shots overall. And to your point, Akeem, he hasn't scored in the fourth quarter yet. That's really the difference maker here for the Knicks, where all of a sudden we know what's going to happen with Jalen Brunson. He's Mr. Fourth Quarter. He's Mr. Clutch. He's the guy who's reliable when games get late. You need Karl Anthony Towns to be the Cat of game 1 and to a certain extent the Cat of game 2. And he has to do it in the fourth quarter as well. He can't just disappear. When we're talking about how Jalen Brunson needing to get other guys involved, Karl Anthony Towns needs to get himself involved, especially in the fourth quarter. When that game was going down to the wire, when he said that they just gave the game away when they had too many turnovers, that was true. It's also true that he disappeared, and he really needs to step up big time in game 4.
I blame the coach. I feel bad. It's like, hey, you're good at what you emphasize. You know what they emphasize? Jalen Brunson being the closer. So it works until it doesn't, right? So it didn't work.
But they played so many different ways with Mike Brown this season and in the playoffs where they have gotten, you're right about the coach, they've gotten Karl Anthony Towns involved over and over again, where sometimes when in previous years with Tibbs, when it was the Jalen Brunson show, and if it didn't work, they were in a lot of trouble. This year they figured it out. We can play different ways. We can rely on OG. We can go and play through Karl Anthony Towns. You're right. It comes back to Mike Brown. Sometimes you got to go get Cat involved.
But again, like I said before, and you're right, is that it works until it doesn't. Yeah. So no matter how much Jalen struggled, you just believe, okay, fourth quarter, it's his time. It didn't happen. And now, guess what? You're playing Monday morning quarterback. You're like, hey, by the way, Cat didn't score the last such and such. No one said anything about Cat not scoring last game. Right? Because they won. Yeah. They don't score 2 games in a row. Now it's like, let's blame Jalen Brunson. Yes, let's blame Cat. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying is, at the end of the day.
But you got to be great all the time. And everyone to win the finals, you got to be consistently great.
Akeem, you know who else has to be great? The coach.
Absolutely.
The coach has to be great. And so, and when people say the NBA is not about coaching and adjustments, I laugh.
Who says that?
People will say the coaching doesn't matter in the NBA. It's all about the players. And what you're finding out is that adjustments matter.
Yeah.
And again, the layman may not see it, but we as experts like, okay, why are they not guarding Josh Hart? Why is Keldon Johnson guarding Cat? Hold on. Why aren't they throwing? Why is Cat not in the basket and you throw the ball with Keldon Johnson guard him, make him double, he kick it out? Like, why is this happening? And at the end of the day, you're like, wow, the Spurs guy must be really smart. Pop has got his little, he's probably got an IFB, and Pop is like hitting him on the sideline saying X, Y, and Z. I'm telling you, check him.
Pop is coaching the team.
Pop is probably coaching the team.
Breaker 19. Can we get
he's got a pack on, see if he got his IFB. I'm just trying to tell you. Don't be shocked.
Speaking of guys that disappeared, there's another professional segue. Mikal Bridges disappeared in game 3, and all of a sudden, shots not falling for Landry Shamet. They combined for 5 points in game 3. Role players are supposed to play better at home, Chris. So how does Mike Brown get those guys going here for game 4?
Again, it depends on how the Spurs play them defensively. You can talk to guys about confidence. First of all, they're playing at home. This is a great place for him. But guess what? Landry Shamet, when he makes those shots, he's usually wide open because people are chasing him and they're in rotations. With them not being in rotations, he has to now put the ball on the floor or make contested shots. And I think the Spurs have figured something out. But those role guys like Mikal Bridges, he has that free throw jump shot. Well, he hasn't gotten it. First of all, he was in foul trouble last game, so that probably hurt him. Yes. But still, can we get Josh Hart and Mikal to play good at the same time? And that is a recipe for them winning. But to say Landry Shamet or Jose Alvarado or you got, Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench, does Mitchell
He was
Robinson
great, though.
again, somebody had to do something or they got beat by 20. Somebody had to make a shot.
That was a little bit of an adjustment, right? Where all of a sudden Mike Brown went, okay, Landry doesn't really have it going on tonight. I might have to throw a little dust off Jordan Clarkson, who was atrophying on the bench. But yeah, you're right. You know, I'm not super worried about Mikal Bridges because he's had, you know, the series number 1 against the Atlanta Hawks. He was cold in the first 2 games, and Mike Brown said everybody was clamoring for him to get taken out, and Mike Brown said, no, I'm going to stick with him. And then he couldn't miss a shot for like a month. So he had a bad game. Let's see how he adjusts and bounces back in Game 4. And Landry Shamet, he didn't have a good Game 3. First 2 games, he goes for double digits off the bench. So he's a shooter. Shooters are going to shoot. Let's see whether or not he can knock down their shots. But ultimately, if it comes down to the Knicks looking at those 2 guys going, oh, man, we really needed Mikal Bridges and Landry Shamet, otherwise we couldn't win tonight, then you're not going to win anyway.
Not gonna win.
Those guys are supplemental pieces, what you get out of them, even though Mikal Bridges has been excellent this postseason overall. It really is Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and OG Anunoby, and Josh Hart, and then a little Mikal Bridges, whatever you can get on offensively, because defensively, he's always going to bring it.
You know we like to throw around the phrase must win. We throw it around all the time. John, would you say tonight's game is a must win for the Knicks?
Remind me, this is the NBA Finals, is it not?
Correct. It's best of 7.
They're all must win. You have to win all. The Spurs got to win this game. The Knicks got to win this game. Somebody's going to do it, and the other team is going to go back to San Antonio thinking, man, that's a bummer that we didn't win that game, and oh, I wish we were ahead in this series or tied up if you're the San Antonio Spurs. Yes, it is absolutely a must-win game, which is why the 2 of you got me hyped up to watch this game. I cannot wait for this game. It's going to be a good one. Yes.
Listen, for sure, first of all, it's a must-win game for both teams for different reasons. The Spurs lose this game, the series is over.
Correct.
If the Knicks lose, all of New York is going to be down on them. That's what's going to happen. They're going to lose the city if they lose this game. Because there's no way, in my opinion, they win 2 out of 3 against San Antonio with home court advantage. So, again, all the momentum was going their way coming here. They're canceling the streets. They're doing, know this, know that.
No, they're acting a fool. I understand why they canceled. Some of the fans were acting a fool.
And that was just ridiculous for them. And that speaks to that, too. I'm like, what are y'all doing? But I can't say act like you've been here before because they haven't.
Some of the people have not.
They have not. Okay. You know, and so at the end of the day, the Knicks need to win this game for sure because I just continue to believe at the end of the day, and you're right, talent, I think you said this, talent doesn't always win, but if I'm going to place my bet, I'm betting on the talent if all things are equal. And I'm betting on the team that has the best player possibly in the world in the future. So if you're going to hedge your bet, would you not go towards Wemby? That's no matter what his age is. LeBron used to be 22.
I'm going to tell you that coming up.
I mean, okay, my bad.
Okay, that's what I'm going to tease the folks here.
There you go.
This marks just the second NBA Finals where the road team won the first 3 games. Only other time it happened was in 1993 between the Bulls and Suns. Chicago won that series in 6 games. Tonight, though, history on the side of the Knicks. The road team has never won the first 4 games of any NBA Finals. Coming up, we've got picks and predictions for Game 4 of the NBA Finals. That's next on CBS Sports HQ. Keep it locked.
You want to fight about it? Let's go.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, nobody's seen that coming. Y'all gonna make me. Who's a gangster now? Family does not leave family behind. Y'all gonna make me happy.
You are a stone-cold killer.
I want success. Get it for me. This life here is gonna work, isn't it?
We'll make it work.
We'll break ourselves in half to give you a better life.
Rip and Beth have secrets. People with secrets can be useful.
We need to be careful with this family.
Find out what they know before it gets more complicated.
Family is the only thing worth fighting for.
If either one of you want to walk, I won't hold it against you.
I'll be right next to you.
I've been so many places.
Life comes at you fast, whether you're ready for it or not. Everything has to come to an end.
I'm singing this song to you.
My center, my soul is gone.
The worry is what you do next.
Open your eyes. Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth.
She's gonna blow!
All episodes of Landman, TV's biggest phenomenon, are now streaming.
The situation's about to come to a head.
How do you know?
Because I'm about to take it there.
Every time you take a breath, you owe me.
I want success. Get that for me.
Well, God, you got anything else?
Landman, all episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Back here on CBS Sports HQ, Victor the villain looking to rise up again in Game 4 after pushing Jalen Brunson in the head in Game 3 that apparently no official saw. Wemby went on to have his best game in these finals, finished with 32 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks in Game 3. And here's Wemby when asked about becoming New York's new villain.
It seems as though you may be New York's newest villain. Is that kind of the ultimate compliment?
I guess I'm nowhere near Trae Young level, though.
Wemby is New York's new villain. He's trolling Trae Young with a chuckle. I mean, that's a villain. That's villainous.
And a smirk.
And a smirk. Do you think, though, John, because we tend to think he's a nice guy, will Wembanyama embrace that role?
Yeah, so that's a great point because he's seen as this guy who's cerebral. He brings a book to the All-Star game.
He's playing chess in the park.
He's playing chess in the park. He's drawing with his sister.
Yeah.
You know, he's super
He's
laid back.
artsy.
He goes to bed at 9 p.m.
Yep.
He's the guy who does all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, gets a little chippy. Throws a little forearm, lets Jalen Brunson know that he's there, that it's not going to be easy, that you're not going to go up 3-0, that, oh, yeah, you guys are planning the parade outside. I'm not planning one right here in this game, in this building where you are on a 13-game winning streak. You're playing in the finals for the first time since 1999. You think you're going to coast to another win? No, not on Wemby's watch. I love his heel turn. I didn't see it coming, but Victor Wembanyama going from face to heel, yes and please.
Yeah. Listen, we're talking about what parallel as far as a villain we can liken him to. How about Two-Face on Batman?
Oh, there you go.
Two-Face.
Yeah.
You know, one side.
One.
And here's somebody mentioned something I was watching on TV that in Europe, the fans are more rowdy. So here we're saying, oh my God, in the Garden and the X, Y, and Z. And he's like, yo, man, it's tougher to play over there than it is to play here.
They're setting off flares.
You know what I'm saying? So he may not be rattled at all by this. The only thing he may be rattled with is nerves because he's 22 years old. The eye of the specter of the world of basketball is on him like never before. And that is a lot of responsibility on your shoulders because let's be honest, we could talk about Luka and Joker and all those guys. This guy is the guy. Yep. And that's a lot for a 22-year-old. So again, you know, I don't know. I don't think he's a villain. I think he's a great guy. Won the Sportsman Award with, you know, with the journalists and all that. Like, he's not a bad guy. But maybe, remember he cut his hair off?
Some of those hobbies, though, some of those hobbies that we were listing off, they do sound like villainous. They're like, oh, he plays chess?
Yeah.
Like, okay, and
then
he's
he do
doing
karate
art
or something in the
like
offseason, like he's some Zen
that
stuff.
is. So the question for the Knicks, will Jalen Brunson save Gotham and win Game 4 as the Knicks try to win a finals game at MSG for the first time since 1999? Chris, what has to happen for that storyline to play out?
I think they have to get ahead of the Spurs. I think they have to get ahead and get the crowd into the game. The crowd was not able to get into the game. They have to activate that crowd, get a big lead, and just hope the Spurs forward. Hope the youth comes into play, and those guys just give up.
You got to hold on to your lead, too. They're up 7 at the half, right? I mean, they're feeling pretty good about themselves. Okay, we've taken the
Bigger than 7.
We've taken the Spurs' best punch in games 1 and 2, 1 on their floor. Now we're ahead on our floor in Game 3, and then they they let it get away from them a little bit. They had turnovers. They let the Spurs get back into it. Victor Wembanyama, for sure, was the best Victor Wembanyama we've seen so far in this series. So all those things they have to start fast, got to keep Wemby away from the basket, and they got to keep that crowd in it.
Look at that. Last time the Knicks won an NBA Finals game at MSG. Get in
price
a
of gas.
A little bit cheaper.
When was that? 112.
1999.
1999.
A little bit
cheaper.
cheaper.
Vanderbilt. I don't remember it being $1.12 in Nashville.
Incredible.
Tarzan could not have been the best movie. What are we talking about?
Which Tarzan was that? The cartoon Tarzan?
Any of them.
New York is a 2.5-point favorite tonight.
City.
2.5-point favorite. Chris, who wins?
Listen, last time I picked with my heart. I'm sorry.
With your Josh Hart?
Yeah, I did, with the Nova guys.
Okay.
And, I wanted to go 7 games. So that's my disclaimer for my Nova people. I love my Nova Knicks.
I do too.
wanted to go 7 games, so I'm taking the Spurs. I think they get it done, and it's exciting, and it's something that's never happened where the road team wins all 4 games.
You clocked this, I clocked this. Somebody on this desk is wearing Knicks colors on his tie. Couldn't be me. I had the Spurs in this series. I was a little nervous about it after the first 2 games. I thought that they could have won either of those games. They didn't win either of those games. Then I thought, well, forget about it. This thing's already over. It's not even going to go back to San Antonio. Pleasantly surprised by the Spurs' effort in Game 3. And like you, I had the Spurs in the series, and I want the series to continue. We've had 3 really good games. Let's extend it a little bit more. I got the Spurs to tie it up, going back to San Antonio 2-2.
Go New York, go New York, go. I said Knicks in 5 before this series started.
You did.
Knicks are going to punch back tonight like Wemby punched Jalen Brunson.
Oh, wow.
He's going to save Gotham in Game 4, and we're going to have a 3-1 series lead heading back to San Antonio where they will win in Game 5. My prediction will come true, and you will call me Nostradamus.
Speaking in about 2.5 hours. Make sure you wear the same tie.
In the past 15 years, listen to this, this is for you. In the past 15 years, when the NBA Finals is 2-1, the Game 4 winner is 11-1 in the series. Only loss, 2016 Warriors to my Cleveland Cavaliers. Of course, they came back from 3-1, only team to do that.
Yeah.
For Chris Walker, John Gonzalez, our entire crew, thank you for watching our pregame coverage. Following tonight's Game 4, we will have full post-game reaction right here on CBS Sports HQ. Enjoy the game.
You want to fight about it?